Segment tonight, the constitutional right to freedom of expression. 16-year-old Walter Petrick showed up at Leon Goldstein High School in Brooklyn, New York, wearing a Hitler costume on Halloween. School authorities sent Walter to the dean's office in order, they say, to avoid disruptions on the campus. Then yesterday, Walter put the costume on again for a photo op, and now further action may be taken against him. With us now is Walter and his mother, Diane. All right, so what is it? Did everybody wear a costume on Halloween? Was that an option?
It was an option, yeah. Not everyone wore a costume, but a lot of people did wear costumes.
Okay. So you decided to go as Hitler. Why?
Why not?
Well, I'll give you 150 reasons why not. Why did you decide to go as Hitler?
I could. Why did someone decide to go as maybe George Bush or Osama bin Laden?
So you didn't think about it any further than that?
Well, no. Well, like I knew there was going to be people who were going to be offended by it. I knew there were going to be people who were like find it hilarious.
Okay, but why did you decide to do this?
Mostly because it was a Halloween costume. I could do it. I had the mustache all going away.
So there was no greater point you wanted to make other than being a provocateur, being somebody who comes in, is going to get attention, and some of it will be good, some of it will be bad. No other plan.
I don't know if it was so much just for the attention. You know, I feel like why shouldn't I be able to wear a Hitler costume if I feel like it?
Okay, well, because it makes people feel bad. You know,
well, so do a lot of things.
That's true, but we usually try to avoid inflicting pain on other human beings if we're good people. Now, let me give you an example. This is a very Jewish high school, okay? Yeah. A lot of these kids have grandparents who were killed by Hitler and his thugs. So when they see somebody dressed up like Hitler, no matter what the intent, they're going to get upset. It's the same thing if you're an African American and you wore a Ku Klux Klan outfit in.
Someone did that.
And that's going to offend a lot of black people. And if you're a Native American and somebody wore a George Custer costume in, that's going to offend people because their relatives have been harmed physically by these people. Therefore, you have to understand that there's a sensitivity when you get into that kind of an arena. No?
Yeah, I do understand that.
Bill, our neighborhood had...
One minute. I just want to get the thinking process of your son. All right, so you do understand the sensitivity and that people could be legitimately offended by your action.
Well, I don't know if it was legitimate. I guess it was legitimate, but it's people have to lighten up. You know,
people have to lighten up.
Yeah, it was a Halloween costume meant as a joke. You know, I'm not seriously promoting Nazism.
Nobody's saying you are, but I don't know. I don't know if that's funny. Now, did you talk about it, Ms. Boone, with your husband? With your son? Because you clearly knew he was going to walk out as Hitler, correct?
My reaction was first not to do it, but when he wanted to do it, after being advised that it's iffy, I felt that that was his right of artistic expression.
Artistic expression. Now, your husband's Jewish. Did he concur with your opinion?
Yes.
Okay, so it's an artistic expression. Now,
he knows it was done in spirit of Mel Brooks, Springtime for Hitler, John Cleese, humor.
But those are vehicles of entertainment. Those are vehicles where there's a context.
So is Halloween.
True, but this costume doesn't afford Walter any kind of commentary. He just wears it. And then there are people who got their grandfather and grandmother put in an oven. They don't know whether he's trying to be funny or he's trying to be a wise guy.
It's Halloween.
Said many times that
it doesn't matter if it's Halloween. I mean, you can use and exploit Halloween for bad purposes. You know that.
Most of the costumes, we're spoofing our fears. And this is the ultimate goblin.
The whole point of Halloween is to confront our fears and our fears. You know.
See,
so
if you gave a lecture about it, I might feel it differently. Now, when the school removed you from the classroom, put you into the dean's office, and I would have done the same thing because I don't want the class disrupted and people...
Well, the class wasn't disrupted.
Yeah, but there were people going to be...
Until the teacher acted. I mean, the kids were fine with it. It was the teacher's action that caused the disruption.
The potential for disruption is there. The potential for somebody really getting angry, and we saw that on the tape leading in here where the guy says he's going to throw you in the lake.
Let me just make this one point, Bill.
Sure.
Hitler killed a lot of people, and we're in sympathy with the victims, in fact, my husband's family as well. But Hitler didn't do it alone. He did it by harnessing mass emotion, and the mass emotion harnessed by his propaganda machine. The media attention toward this is harnessing mass emotion in a similar way. The the furor is being raised by the attention. And we need to channel that toward Ahmadinejad, who's calling for the destruction of Israel, not a kid in a Halloween
I think that's a little
costume.
bit of a stretch, because this is a local situation where Walter decided to do something. Some people feel it's very wrong. I'm not really getting why he did it, but under the Constitution, you can do stuff like that. I wouldn't do it.
That's why we have the Constitution, so
All
we
right.
can do
We
this.
But we
must-
don't always have to do it, even if
We
you
don't
can.
have
I got
to
to
do
run.
that.
We
I
must
gotta run.
defend freedom of speech and
All
academic
right.
freedom and
Well,
artistic
we
freedom.
want to defend freedom of speech. That's why you have you on. Plenty more ahead as the factor moves along.